Hi there, I'm Angela. Welcome to another episode of Friday Sews. Hi friends, happy Friday. I'm so happy that it's Friday. I'm not sure how the weather is where you guys are. Hope it's good. Here we have the sun, so that's always a nice thing, especially as the temperatures are getting colder. Having the sun out can make so much of a difference. And a couple of thank yous to start out with. Of course, I'm thanking Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. She's the creator of the hashtag Friday Sews. If you guys haven't checked her channel out yet, which I'm sure that you have by now, go ahead and do that. She's fantastic. Jen and Whitney of Tomcat Stitchery were probably like two of the very first sewing YouTube channels that I started following several years back. And it kind of opened up a whole new world for me as I was getting back into garment sewing. So yeah, check Jen's channel out. And also if you do a search in YouTube on the hashtag Friday Sews, you'll come up with all kinds of good videos to watch. So if you're not already doing that, maybe consider doing that over the weekend. There'll be all kinds of good videos out. And another special thank you to all of you guys for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And special thank you to anyone who's able to join in the live chats. I don't do that every Friday Sews, but I try to when it's feasible. So tonight is one of those. Thank you to all you guys for being here. I love chatting with you guys in the chat box while we watch the video. It's one of the few times when I get to have like a two-way communication with you guys, even if it's just like typing in. One of these days I'll get brave enough to do another live video. So I haven't gotten there. I did one a while back, probably a few months ago, and it went really well, but I had some issues with the completion of the thing as far as YouTube goes, and it ended up that I lost all of those chat comments down the side. So where's the fun in that? I don't know. It's probably something that I did wrong, but I'm kind of getting brave enough to try that again. So maybe soon. That's all I can say for that. And then one last little bit of housekeeping to share with you guys. Today is Friday, October 28th. So we just wrapped up V's challenge, V of 85th and Wade, her jumpsuit challenge, and that ended on Wednesday. I hope you guys were able to participate in that, and I'm not sure if this is something that she'll do like annually. I want to say this was maybe the first time that she's done this. I think her channel is actually still pretty new, but I don't know if she ever hosted this on Instagram before. Either way, it was really a success. There's so many good participants. If you go over to Instagram and type in the hashtag Sew Romp Jump Play 22, you'll get to see everybody's finished jumpsuits. So that's wrapped up now. So enough about that. I hope she'll do it next year too. It was fun. One more thing about that. Thanks you guys so much for all the nice comments on my jumpsuit right here. I really appreciate that. It's my first time making a jumpsuit. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I'm currently on the hunt for like a brown or copper colored turtleneck or long sleeve t-shirt to wear under that. Yeah, and I'm going to be doing a pattern review on that pattern next week. Okay, so enough about that for real this time. Yeah, moving on. Otherwise, in my sewing world, I have started my next project, which is Simplicity 2898. And I'm doing View A, the long sleeve version. This is kind of an older pattern. It's from 2008. So not like quite vintage yet, I guess, but 14 years old, that's kind of old. Either way, I think I'm gonna like it. I wear a lot of long sleeve knit tops in the winter, so this will be just perfect. And the short sleeve one is pretty cute too, and if it goes well with the long sleeves, maybe I'll consider doing the short sleeve version too. And the fabric that I'm using for this is it's kind of like a sweater knit. I guess I would call this a sweater knit, and it's ribbed. It's kind of like a heathered color. If this fabric is still available over on StyleMaker, I'll put a link below. And of course the pattern is out of print. You might be able to find it here and there on Etsy or eBay or maybe a Destashify or something like that. I think I got mine off of probably Etsy. Every now and then I go on a little spree where I spend like a couple hours, like we're just chilling at home on a Friday night or a Saturday, and I'm just got my laptop. I'll kind of get on a little rabbit hole of going down looking at the vintage patterns on Etsy, and once in a while I'll pull the trigger and get like 3 or 4 of them. So this probably was one of those. Anyway, I'm excited to make it. I'm still fairly new to sewing with knits. But I'm feeling pretty confident that I can do this. Yeah. And anyway, back to the fabric. This is so soft. I mean, I can't even like believe how soft this is, and I can't wait to wear this once it's made. Yeah, so I think this goes from size 10 to 22. So I should be good as far as not having to size up out of the pattern size range. It looks like the size 22 has a bust of 44 and hips of 46. So given that, I'll probably fall between the 20 and the 22. And maybe I'll have to do some grading on that, but I think it'll be pretty good, not too complicated. The only thing that would be sort of new for me is there's this little piece in the front there in the center of the bust area, and I don't think that it'll be complicated per se. I think that I'll just have to watch out for any fitting issues because there's like a top and a bottom. Actually, there might be like 2 separate pieces for the top of the bodice and then the lower part. Bring in a little closer there. I haven't looked at the pattern that closely yet, but I'm gonna get started on that. So I think maybe the fitting could be the issue, making sure that this, where it's stitched together, doesn't fall, that it falls in the right place, so to speak, and not like halfway across like the bust. That could look funny. So yeah, I might cut the pieces a little with a little extra seam allowance in case I need that. Just some wiggle room. So that's that. I am going to trace the pattern. Sometimes what I do, especially with vintage patterns that I can't just go to Joann's and get a $1.99 pattern, what I'll do is unfold all the sheets, and I do cut the pieces apart, but I don't cut out specific sizes. I cut them with like in the gray area, the margins around the pattern pieces, so that then they're easier to work with, but I still do go ahead and trace them into the right size. That way all the sizes are preserved in case anybody else should want the pattern, or if my size changes drastically. Hopefully it will only go lower, but we all know how that goes. Yeah, so I'm starting on that, getting ready to trace those pattern pieces. This was actually the second of my October planned projects. We're on October 28th now, and I'm just starting it. So this will probably go into mid-November, and I'm going to have to come up with like an alternate plan for November, just because I didn't finish 2 makes in October, just the jumpsuit. But it's okay. Sometimes I'm just a little bit slow. You guys have heard me say that many times before. Yeah, so that is all I've done in my sewing room this week. And in life, it's been it's been nice around here. I haven't like had to work too many extra days this week, so it's been kind of good. And let's see, I've been cooking a lot more. Fall kind of does that to me. And what I like to do is to cook up like a big pot of like a hearty soup or a stew, and then that'll last throughout the week. And then the 2 of us, my husband and I, can just eat off of that for the week. And I'm vegetarian and usually vegan, although sometimes I cheat and have like cheese on a pizza or something like that. But I strive to be like at least 90-something% vegan. And so I'll make a big pot of like one of these vegetarian soups or stews. And then it's perfect for my husband if he wants to add like some meat to it or something like that, like add to his own portion. So that works out pretty well. And he actually made a loaf of bread a couple of days ago in our bread maker. He's like our resident bread maker. I might have mentioned this on the channel before. We found years ago, kind of like sidetrack here a little bit, many years ago, we found a bread maker at our local Goodwill, and the thing looked brand new. Like maybe somebody got it and used it once or twice. And because they're pretty like sizable appliances that you have to find a place to store them, I guess maybe they donated it, or I don't know the backstory. Anyway, we got an almost brand new bread maker for $8, and he used the heck out of that thing. Like it was kind of his idea, and so he then became our resident bread maker. And he's made like several different kinds of bread, like a cheese bread, sourdough, just a regular like crusty bread. And earlier this year, the bread maker finally broke. I mean, he had replaced the belt on it over the years once or maybe twice because it got that much use. So it finally went kaput and he couldn't fix it. So my mom actually found a bread maker for us on one of her Goodwill trips. And because she knew that ours had broken, so she was kind of keeping an eye out for one and got a good deal on it. So we're back in business with the homemade bread. So he made a loaf of bread earlier this week that went so well with this, the most recent batch of hearty soup that I have made. So that's been like dinner this week, and it's been so good. Like fall is perfect for that. Yes, so if you guys have any good cookbooks or recipes for soups or stews and you want to share it below, feel free. I'm always looking for good soup and stew recipes. And if I remember, I'll put a link to some of the good books that I found below too. Most of when I buy cookbooks these days or look online for recipes, by far they're vegan cookbooks. But what I found, like I just mentioned, you don't have to be vegan or even vegetarian to enjoy some of these soups and stews. Most of them are like so hearty. They're filling and tasty. So yeah, and so that's kind of what I've been up to. And the other thing to share with you guys is I did have my hair colored. I don't know if you guys noticed it. When we went back home a couple of weekends to visit my mom and my brother and his girlfriend and the kids, my mom did my hair. When we were little kids, my brother and I, that's what she did for a living professionally. She did hair. And of course, that was when we were really little, and she since has moved into other careers. But she'll still do my hair every now and then. I hate to, she offers to do it, and I offer to pay her, and she's like, no. So we went to the beauty supply store, and I was looking for a color that really kind of matched my natural hair color as close as possible, which is sort of a medium ashy brown. And a lot of times I've noticed when I do have my hair colored, it kind of pulls like a reddish tint. I don't know if you guys can see that, but especially out in the sun, you can really see like the reddish kind of highlights, and I totally loved it. It like wasn't what I was going for, but I love it, especially for fall. It's like the perfect color for me for fall, so that's pretty nice. Throughout my adult life, my hair's been kind of blonde most of the time, except every now and then I'd get on a kick where I'd go darker with it. But anytime I would use like a darker color on it, it does kind of pull this like red out of it, which is really strange because when it's in its like all natural form, it doesn't look red at all. It looks more ashy. So I don't know like enough about hair coloring and all that to understand how it works really, but anyway, I ended up with reddish and I like it. So big thank you to my mom. She is the best. And let's see what else to share with you guys. We got some new shades for our bedroom windows. We still have the same, they're kind of like those, they're like a fabric shade, honeycomb, or like a waffle shade. It's hard to explain, but they're made out of a fabric, so it lets like filtered light kind of come through. It's not room darkening, I guess is what I'm thinking. So it kind of lets some filtered light come through, and they're sort of like a seafoam color. But when we moved into this house 10 years ago, we just we redid all the rooms except our bedroom. That's like the last room that we've redone. So we've just lived with those shades ever since then, and they were kind of like well worn when we moved in. And so 10 years later, they're like extra well worn. So it's about time. So we ordered some shades and we're going to install those this weekend. And next Friday, so if we've gotten them up, I'll share that with you guys. My husband kind of tweaked his back a few days ago, so he's been taking it really easy. So I'm not sure if we'll get those installed today. I thought about giving it a go myself, but I'm not sure how that might go. I think this might be like more of a two-person project, just because there's going to be like a lot of like reaching up and having to hold something in place while the other person like screws the brackets in. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like when we've hung shades in our other rooms, it kind of went well with two of us working on it together. So we'll see. Hopefully those will get installed, but the most important thing is that my husband rests and so that his back can heal. Yeah, and I think that's probably about it. Yeah, that's all I could think of other than like the garden, which I've pulled the last of, not the last, I still have some beets and radishes in the ground. Those can handle colder weather because they're underground, and I can harvest those later. But everything else I've harvested, and as far as what's left to do this fall, it's pretty much just continue cleaning up all the spent plants. And I do need to plant my garlic. So here we're in zone 6. I'm not sure how many of you guys are like avid gardeners, but our area is considered zone 6A, and that has to do with how cold it gets, for like the coldest temperature that your region gets in the winter. We've already had our first frost, and for us, garlic planting time is in late October, and I've even pushed it into early November before, and it was fine. In fact, last year I kind of did a little experiment where I had I don't know, 30 like garlic cloves to plant, and I did half of them before the first frost, like in mid-October, and then I waited till after the first frost and into early November and planted the other half, just to see if there'd be any difference, if it made a difference, and it didn't really. I couldn't tell any difference. When I harvested all the garlic bulbs over the summer, there was like no difference at all. So I figure it's one of those that timing is not that crucial like it can be with some of the other crops that you plant. Just late fall, roughly. As long as I get the bulbs or the cloves into the ground in late fall, we're good. So I'm going to be doing that this weekend, and maybe even today, because like I mentioned, it's gorgeous out. It's sunny, and it's 57. The 57 for me is kind of on the chillier side. But 57, when we have the bright sun, it's like much better. Isn't it crazy how it makes a difference? Even though like you could have a 57 degree, that's Fahrenheit. I'll put the Celsius up here. Sorry for that. Yeah, so it could make all the difference, whether it's a 57 cloudy and dreary day or 57 bright and sunny. Anyway, today might be a good day to get the garlic into the ground. So yeah, what are you guys up to this weekend? Are you sewing? Are you doing anything outdoors for fall? Any fun plans? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know what you're working on. And yeah, next week I will be working on this. And stay tuned for the pattern review for the jumpsuit. I'm hoping to get that video out midweek, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And other than that, I guess that's it for real. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good weekend. I hope you're having a great Friday night. Friday nights are the best, aren't they? And I guess until next time, bye.